Hello dear friends, thank you so much for joining me today. I have a lovely project for you where you can use up all your scraps of fabric, even if they're small ones, and really just transform these little bits and pieces of joy that you've perhaps worked with in the past into something new. And I love working with scraps. So we're going to need your scrap bag of fabric. You could have very small pieces, even as small as this little one here. And we're going to need a template of some sort. Today we're going to be working with this plastic diamond template. Now if you don't have a plastic template such as this, then if you find a piece of hard plastic like those that you get on the back of a file, you could cut out a shape similar to this. You might want to do it in two pieces. You might want to have one outside shape and one for the inner. That could just depend on you. But you'll be then able to, out of your scraps, select little jewels of color that you can actually use as part of your design. And you can see that when you have a design like this, it just squeezes onto the edge here and squeezes on the edge here, and you can still use these beautiful little pieces. Even with fabric that has a specific design, perhaps like a Christmas one, by the time you've actually cut it out, it doesn't look very Christmassy, and the colors will be what is important. So let me explain to you what this is all about. We need to have two different size templates. We're going to trace around this template on our fabric, and that's going to be our fabric piece. Then we're going to trace around the inside of this template with paper. And the method I'm going to show you today is called English paper piecing, simply because we put paper inside and that it becomes then part of our design. So to begin with, we're going to actually take our template that we've got here, and we're going to start tracing that onto our piece of fabric. Okay, so we're going to just simply take that, place it down, and for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to do it in pen. I would normally just do it in an HP pencil, but I'm going to trace two lines. I'm going around the outside edge of my template and the inside. The outside edge here is where I'm going to cut my fabric. The inside is where I'm going to be placing my piece of paper. The second thing that we're going to need to do is to actually trace some paper shapes. So the paper shapes, what I normally do would be to trace my inside edge of my template. And this is where you could have a second plastic template if you cut one out yourself. I trace that inside edge, and then I lay it down and line it up with the first one and trace around that inside edge. So ultimately I can come with my ruler and my craft knife and cut that. Then what I do is do this on a whole sheet of A4 paper and photocopy it. So I have a template for my design, and then when I've got that photocopied, I normally stick about 5 sheets of magazine paper underneath it, secure them with bulldog clips, and then use my craft knife simply to cut them out. And I find that that's pretty accurate. So at this point now, we've actually cut out some of our pieces of fabric, and they could be all random colors, and we've got some paper pieces. So now we're going to need to assemble these, and we're going to turn your fabric over so that you've got the reverse side, and then you're going to place your piece of paper on the inside edge. Now it's quite important at this particular point that your paper is parallel to the fabric on both sides. I'm then going to just take my fingers and fold it over and pop a nice pin in there. And I do the opposite side again, just before I start pinning, making sure that that's parallel. Sometimes the paper pushes a bit and it goes a bit wonky either one way or the other, and we don't want that. We want it nice and parallel. So I'm going to fold that over as I've done here. And then I need to take a piece of thread. Now this is a wonderful opportunity to use up all those ends of your cotton reels, you know, the bits where you've got just not enough to do a project but you don't want to waste it. Thread up a nice color, normally a contrast to what you're working with, and then start with one of these longer ends. I then put my thumbnail on the fabric exactly where that piece of paper lines up. So my thumbnail is in line with that piece of paper. I'm pressing it down, and then I'm folding my fabric inwards, and that will give me my first crease. Then I place my fingernail back on there and fold over again, and that gives me my second crease, and it gives me a really nice sharp pointed corner, as you can see there. Let me just get the stitch in and I'll show you again. So you get that lovely nice pointed tip there. I'm going to continue with my tacking stitch all the way around, and you'll find that this actually will go pretty quickly once you've actually decided which colors you're going to work with. Sorry, I just need to get that pin in again to get a nice edge. So just make sure all the time that you are getting nice corners. The corners are where all the pieces are going to join together. And if you don't have nice corners, you're going to find that it is really difficult to get good connections between the pieces. Tacking all the way around here. Now I come to another long edge. I put my thumbnail down on that edge. I'm folding my fabric in, picking up my finger and capturing it, and then putting my thumbnail again and folding against it. And I get that lovely, lovely point. Can you see that? Nice, sharp, crisp point. When I get to the end of my tacking, I'm just simply going to cut my thread off because I don't actually want to be fighting knots too much when I start to pull all the pieces of paper out. And we will pull the pieces of paper out once you've actually assembled your quilt top. So for now, that is what I'm going to just have done. The next thing will be to decide how you want to assemble your design. When you've got all your little diamond-shaped pieces, you've got lots of options. You could spread your colors out in a whole lot of random designs. You could put 3 bits together, and you could create these little kind of almost snowballs if you wished. And you can play around with colors. And I might just tell you, it gets really addictive at this point because you can play with the colors so much. And there are so many different combinations that you could be there forever. You might decide that you wanted to do something that looks more like a baby's block, where you start off with a dark color. Oopsie, sorry, I'm out of focus. A dark color and then a medium and a light tone. So that does look almost like a brick. And yeah, play around till you're happy. And then I normally just tack 3 pieces together if I'm going to work with this kind of template, so that I know when I'm coming to stitch that I have predetermined my colors. I find it really distressing if I've got some time then I could spend stitching and I haven't sorted my fabric. So when I've got a pile of these, I normally pop them into one of these little clip-lock plastic tubs with some needle and thread. And then if I'm sitting somewhere quietly waiting for somebody, or I'm traveling, I can actually just assemble a few of these. So that's the advantage of getting your designs prepared. But for today's purposes, I'm going to be making up some stars. And I love working with the stars. They just give you so many options. So for the star, I'm actually going to need to have 6 of my little diamonds. And you can see I've got a whole selection here of all kinds of different colors that I have already assembled, but not enough to finish my quilt top. So I'm in progress in starting to make mine together. But let me show you how you would assemble this star, and then you can perhaps get started with something of your own. As I mentioned, you've got 6 pieces that you're working with, and you're going to assemble them in groups of 3s so that you have what essentially looks like half a flower, which is that. I've had to choose my colors for this demonstration to show you, so I've chosen very light colors here, not too heavily patterned, so that you can see my stitching. So the first thing I'm going to do will be to pick up 2 of my pieces. I will lay them with right sides facing each other, and I would normally work with a white cotton on this light fabric, but I'm using navy so you can see what I'm doing. I've got a knot at the end of my cotton, and I'm going as close to the edge as possible. And then I'm doing a little double stitch so that that's nice and secure. Okay, if your cotton does capture and unravel a bit like this, just grab the loop, straighten it all out, and then carry on. Don't be thrown by it. It normally is just a little thread that's caught long. Right, so now I'm going to just do almost like a little whipping stitch. I'm just going over the top of the 2 pieces, over the top, doing smallish stitches, going through all 4 layers and pulling through. And you're going to work like this all the way to the end. And when you get to the points of your design, you need to do these double stitches. That's where all the little ends meet, and you want to make sure that those are really nice and secure, because that will be the thinnest place where your fabric is joined together. As you can see, this part really doesn't take that long to do at all, and it's really relaxing. It's something you can do while you're watching a movie, or yeah, just have it on hand. It's actually, to me, when I get to this point, I'm always amazed at how quickly it all comes together, because it's the prep that seems to take so long, but it really is wonderful when it comes together. I made a quilt using this diamond shape for my granddaughter, and I did it in rainbow colors, and oh my word, it is just absolutely stunning. I'll try and put a picture of it at the end of the video. And yeah, lovely rainbow colors, and then I backed it with some polar fleece. All right, so when you get to the second join, which is now joining your third piece, you might find that one side of your diamond is slightly longer than the other. Just rotate it and then assemble it that way. It does work out, and it does sometimes happen. So I'm going to turn it over so I can see nicely. You can see now I've got these points joining together. I want to get my needle right into the point here. Make it nice and secure. And I'm going to do a double stitch here so that this doesn't come undone. Bear in mind, quilts, people sit on them and do all sorts of things, who knows. And you don't want this to pop open and have to start doing repairs. So essentially for each star, you're going to need to have 2 pieces of joined diamonds. So you're going to have, it's almost like a half flower shape that you make, and then we're going to join those together to make a completed star. I'm making sure that I'm just holding my thread out the way so you can see what I'm doing, but it really is just a little whipping stitch. And I'm just using normal sewing thread for this. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. In my youth, when I was in my 20s, I made a quilt using hexagons. And gosh, what did I know about quilting in those days? I lived in South Africa and we had sanctions. We couldn't even get quilting books. So I kind of just did what I thought was right. And I actually did something quite different. I stitched these together from the front, and I used embroidery cotton because I thought, oh, well, that's going to look nice. And it really does look nice, and I love that quilt. I still use it in summer because it's light for summer heat, as just a covering in bed. But you know, traditional quilters will say, oh no, that's not the right thing to do. But does it matter? You know, it really doesn't matter. I'm not entering competitions and shows. Right, so when I've got my 2 pieces together like that, you will see that when I come to join these pieces together, I've got a really nice long straight edge to work on, and that makes your life really simple. So I sometimes will just take my fingernail and just run it over the seam here just to flatten it out a little bit, making sure when I come to put these 2 together that the points of the center block are really nicely lined up. And I pop a pin in there, and then I pop one on either side in the middle, simply so that these blocks don't actually slide around while I'm working. And I'm going to then just run through that and join those together. And when you have completed that, you'll find that you've got all your blocks nice and neatly joined as such. Look at this, I've got all kinds of different color cottons here, but that doesn't really matter. When you have got all your blocks together, you're going to have the joy of deciding how you're going to assemble your quilt. And let's just do a very, very simple design so that you can have some idea of where we are headed. You might decide you want to work this in just a random pattern. You might decide you want a formal pattern. That's really going to depend on you and your personality. I kind of am a person who likes things to just flow in terms of color and gradient of color, but that, having said that, it might just depend on the fabric. So in my mind, what I've got planned, or I'm not going to say it's going to be how it's going to turn out, is that I thought I would need this kind of neutral background to join these together. So if I had to join these stars together, you would see I've got these little diamond pieces in between. I have quite a lot of this creamy color fabric, which to me just screams wrong, wrong, wrong. Firstly, because it's not a color that I'm crazy about, but secondly, I don't think that with the colors that I have, it's going to be great. So that might just have to be put aside for a future project when I work with more autumn colors. But I do have quite a lot of this dark purple fabric that I've stitched up, and I haven't stitched it all because I did want to see how my design was going to fit together. So I could use this dark purple linking these up, and then maybe as the colors get paler, perhaps introduce a bit more of my light purple. But on the other hand, I have thought that perhaps I might just get something that is completely different. Let me just see if I've got a star here that might show you. Yeah, you do get fabrics that have this kind of almost celestial feel, you know, a little bit like stars. And I might decide that I want to go for a plain color, maybe not as dark as this, but just a plain color to link it. I think in my mind that when I've got a plain color between these blocks, it's going to make the stars pop, but I'm not as 100% certain yet as to what my plain color is going to be. So when I get to this point, I would then start to join my little diamond templates to these, just as we did with the previous blocks. And when my cover is complete, I'm going to pull out all the papers, and that's very easy to do. You just simply snip the threads and pull the paper out. And then you're going to need batting as a filling, and you're going to need a backing and some binding. But that is for another day, and you need to get started before we can carry on. I can't post you up a follow-up to this video immediately because obviously it's going to take me time to progress a little bit more. But as soon as I do have it, I will show you. And there are a couple of other patchwork things that I've got to do where I can start you off like this and then show you as I progress. I've got a lovely one to do with very small pieces. I mean, tiny little pieces, but it's going to be magnificent when it's done. So thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a great pleasure, and I look forward to sharing the rest of this with you. But I do have a lot of other craft videos on my channel, so please like and subscribe, and leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. Bye for now.